retailers decided that since they couldn't guarantee the supply of most items in stores on a grocery side, they cut back all promotional spending. So even if we had ads scheduled, and that's kind of our main way to get people to notice us right now, is to be in the flyers, to have online ads, coupons, everything was shut down because the stores weren't sure that they'd have it in stock. And so for a little brand like us that people don't know, other than our packaging and people finding us in the store, getting in those flyers, getting in those apps, doing the promotions is the way people know we exist. The pandemic has totally shifted online commerce to where 5% of grocery sales were online before the pandemic, and it spiked up to about 40%. Then it's settled down to 20-25. So we are actually launching e-commerce next month. And I think in e-commerce, that's when your ability to hit on trends becomes a much bigger need for the packaging. So not only do you have to stand out, you have to say, I'm on trend. I have the right protein content. I have the right nutrition. I'm telling a story, and really building that story of what problem you're solving for the target consumer you're going after. It's all one package. Overall, it caused us to refocus on how to make our business stronger and more sustainable, withstanding some of these challenges. And so those challenges that did pop up, it kind of exposed a weakness in a lot of businesses. But for a startup, we were kind of nimble and able to focus on how to solve those in the short term, but then build it up for the long term. Our mission has always been to kind of reinvent a traditional breakfast favorite and give it to someone who is looking for that protein, because that's kind of become a widespread need. But what isn't completely accessible currently is a convenient package that it's wrapped in. So yeah, there are some convenient ways to get protein, but not all are the exact thing that you want for a meal. So for breakfast, we wanted to have the traditional delicious products that everybody really wants to eat, but don't really have a nutritious protein option on shelf right now that really speaks out and says, this looks delicious and it's going to hit all my macro goals. So what we tried to focus on is finding that use case scenario that a consumer would say, I see how this fits in my life. This makes my life easier and I'm not sacrificing. It's kind of the guilt-free option to still deliver protein. In the retail space, it is your number one source of advertising because it's a little bitty billboard sitting on a shelf, and you take up, your shelf space is valuable. And in the industry, people will even pay to have the best shelf space right at eye level. So really having a package that stands out is the number one thing you can do to get people to try your brand. And we're confident that our product is so great. Once you try it, you'll buy it forever. And so, we built the back end of that. But getting that first trial has been a challenge for us. And for a while, our packaging looked just like everything else on the shelf. So it had all the requisite things that you'd need in a food product, but it really didn't stand out. So that was one of the things we really wanted to focus on. One of the things we learned early in packaging redesign was that you only have 5 seconds of people reading the front. So you can't put 45 things on it that says why your product's so great. You have to really focus on the 1 or 2 things that you want to get people to see. That kind of just goes into the hierarchy too, and understanding where the eyes go first and where they go next, and how to design the package so that the eyes follow naturally. The challenge of starting your own business is just the struggle. It's been real. It's been constant. It's changes, it morphs, but every day you're coming in and you get to be your own boss, but man, you have to be your own boss. You have to make your decisions, and there's huge decisions to be made. That's lots of money. And a lot of times that you just get wrapped up and focused on, I have to solve this problem. And you don't kind of zoom out to the world of I need to also do these 40 things. Now our biggest push is to find the target consumers that really resonate with our brand. There's a gym in St. Louis called Burn Boot Camp that's been a great supporter of us, and we try to be a great supporter of them. And we're now focused on finding those influencers and building a relationship with them and providing value rather than just paying for posts. Those only go so far. It's not genuine. So we're trying to build genuine connection with people in our community, but then also in the communities where our retail stores are, to say, we're in it with you. It's a challenge to continue eating healthy, and we want to be the help, especially for breakfast, the least meal prepped meal of the world. So we're there to help. We're in the back of your freezer every morning. So grab and go. My vice is bourbon. It's a real problem. In the pandemic, it was really fun to, like, I had started collecting bourbon and finding bourbon everywhere. And the pandemic just really took it to a new level. So I have probably 100 bottles at my bar in my basement, and built a bar in the pandemic just because it's just a cool story, how bourbon's created. And I didn't really realize this when I started collecting, but it really mirrors what we're doing in the food industry about how to be craft and creative.